It honestly wouldn't be the first time that our government has tested or done experiments on people without those people's knowledge, allegedly. Hey guys, welcome back. If you are new here, hi, my name is Shayna, and in my little corner of the internet, we talk about spooky history of all kinds. If that sounds like something you're interested in, be sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell because I upload on Wednesdays. I also have a podcast called Spooky History with Shayna Blake, and that is where the audio of this video will be. So if that's more your thing, I'll be sure to have a link down in the description for you. I just wanted to remind you that next week is my 4th week, so there will not be video or podcast next Wednesday. But this week, I wanted to kind of make a fun video that I thought was pretty interesting mystery, and believe it or not, there are a ton of people out there that have never heard of this. So without further ado, let's talk about the mysterious goop. Around 3 a.m. on August 7th in 1994 in the city of Oakville, Washington, rain would begin to fall that would cover a 20 square mile area. Now, rain wasn't unusual in this area, of course, but once people started to take a closer look, they realized that this didn't look like normal rain. Now, at the same time the rain began to fall, Officer David Lacey was on patrol with one of his civilian friends. Well, he noticed it started to rain, and like any normal person, when it rains, he turned on his windshield wipers. Well, instead of the water just washing off the windshield, it would start to smear, which in turn would make it harder for him to see where he was going. So this made him pull into a local gas station to try to clean off this odd substance. He decided to grab a pair of latex gloves for safety, and he would touch it, and he described it as this, and I quote, "very mushy, almost like if you had Jell-O in your hand," end quote. Then others in town would start to notice this as well. There was a local resident named Dottie Hearn, and she stepped outside after it stopped raining and noticed this gelatinous substance everywhere. Now, at first she said it looked like hailstones, so she was a little confused when she realized those weren't hailstones. But by that afternoon, the police officer that first noticed it, as well as Dottie and many others in town, would start to become violently ill. Their symptoms including having difficulty breathing, extreme dizziness, blurred vision, and nausea. Another resident would experience this flu-like illness, and it lasted for up to 2 or even 3 months. Honestly, I could not imagine. I personally hate being sick, so being sick with those types of symptoms for that long of a period of time, I would go crazy. Believe it or not, even the cats and dogs that lived in this town would become sick and would even die in this short time span. So they knew something had to be going on. Now, the resident Dottie was found on her bathroom floor about an hour after feeling the flu-like symptoms. She was found by her daughter, Sunny Barclift, and Dottie was conscious, but very weak. Sunny described her mom as feeling cold, sweat-drenched, and just looked very pale. And Sunny knew that there had to be a connection to the odd substance that came from the sky to what all was going on in the town. So Sunny took Dottie to a nearby hospital, and Dottie would stay there for 3 days until she would recover and be able to come home. Now, Sunny would end up taking a few samples of this substance, and one of the samples she sent to the hospital for testing. And there at the hospital, a lab technician examined it and found that it contained human white blood cells, but they couldn't figure out what it was or how it came from the sky. Now, the same sample was then sent to the Washington State Department of Health for further study, and there was a microbiologist there named Mike McDowell, and he noted that it was teeming with 2 species of bacteria, and one of these bacteria is one that specifically lives inside the human digestive system. So that's kind of strange. Why would that be falling from the sky? That's because of Mike's findings that people would start to speculate that maybe human waste from an airplane had been dumped while flying over the city. But Federal Aviation Administration would shut that down because regulations require that the waste would be dyed blue and the gelatin that came from the sky was clear. Also, it's illegal for pilots to release human waste in mid-flight. Not saying that they couldn't have, but honestly, why would they? That's kind of weird. About after a year, Sunny would send another sample that she had saved, and she sent it to Amtest Laboratories, which was a private lab. A microbiologist there named Tim Davis believed that he saw, probably gonna mispronounce this, eukaryotic cell. I'll put the word on the screen in case you're watching on YouTube, because Sorry. And that cell is a nucleus containing cell that are present in most living creatures, meaning it was or had been alive. So why is it coming from the sky? No one really knows. One theory is that it originated from one of the military's naval bombing runs at sea and had accidentally hit a school of jellyfish, and this caused the pieces of jellyfish flying into the atmosphere. But the lack of a rotting smell and the fact that it traveled the 50 miles inland and then decided to fall makes this theory seem very unlikely. Not exactly impossible, because I don't really know how the atmosphere works. I know it does weird things, but very unlikely. And while the Air Force confirms that they were indeed doing practice bombing runs over the Pacific Ocean in August, they however deny having any knowledge of the substance or any involvement in creating or dispersing it. However, the residents of the town don't believe them in the sense that they don't know where the substance came from. They believe that the military had something to do with it. In fact, there were many people that noticed that prior to the jelly coming from the sky, that almost daily there were military aircraft in the sky and they were flying very slow above the town. So they believe that the military was testing a new biological weapon or test the possible damage of biological attack on US soil and see what it could do. So that is a very popular theory right now. And believe it or not, the really weird thing is that there are no samples of this substance today. They have all disappeared. There aren't even any real pictures of the gelatin that was found. If you Google it online, you'll find images that people have made that resemble the substance, but there are no real images that show the exact substance that fell from the sky. So all we really have are people's experiences and their stories that lived in that area around that time. Very weird, but super interesting, I thought. So I want to know what you all think, and if you believe it was some military experiment or if you have another theory. I think it's very possible that they were testing some new weapon. It honestly wouldn't be the first time that our government has tested or done experiments on people without those people's knowledge, allegedly. That's all I got for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And don't forget, there won't be one next week. But also be sure to hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell so you don't miss any of my future uploads. I hope you guys have a very blessed day, and I'll see you all later. Bye!